What's up, guys? Today, I have one of the more insane SPY trades that I have ever been a part of. Intraday today, we rejected the all-time high, and we basically just slid lower in a zombie grind to the downside, all until around 2 o'clock. Now, around 2 o'clock today, we started to notice that we were coming down into some major demands on the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ futures. 6120 on the ES futures, 22,100 on the NASDAQ futures. These were both key demands and golden zones that I was looking for the market to move down into to create a new long opportunity. The preparation of these levels is what gave me the confidence to take my entry and give this some time to see if that would become a new long opportunity. It just so happens that I was blessed by an end-of-day move that went straight to the upside, providing almost 75% into end of day. This was a wild trade. And really, the only way that I was able to catch this, once again, was proper preparation and understanding of key levels and trusting the levels. And that is why I'm able to take this trade and make this video here today. So I want to go ahead and show you guys the entry point, the exits that I took, and also the idea of holding some of this overnight. But more important, why I took this trade and what were the levels that I was looking for the market to bounce off of. A very clean technical move today, and I want to go ahead and showcase it in today's video. So I hope you guys learned something about key levels today. Press that like button, subscribe to the channel. Let's go ahead and jump right in.
I'm very definitely tempted to just sort of trust my golden zone here on the NASDAQ futures. We just dropped right into it. TTL, right? I grabbed these. There you go. There's your Zoom trade for today. Just 10. Put $2,000 in it. February 19th, 536 calls. Hold until tomorrow. Stop loss under under, I'd say just under 536. Let's see if our golden zone holds up. I'm going to say, you know what, I'm going to give it the whole zone. Stop loss under 22,050 NASDAQ. I mean, I definitely want to hold it overnight because I think it could react sort of after hours or into tomorrow morning into that zone.
So what you just listened to was a Zoom recap live with the group today, talking about the pullback into 22,100 on the NASDAQ futures and that SPY 6120 level, the ES futures. And right around there, and you saw me do it live with the group, I entered those QQQ as well as some SPY calls, looking for that to be a major pullback long opportunity today. And now let's go ahead and talk about this sort of in the post-mortem. You can also see up on the screen, I'll go ahead and post my pre-market analysis and the preparation I did for myself today about key levels and where I would be looking to look for a pullback long. Now, if you look at this NASDAQ futures, guys, this is the 4-hour chart. You can see right here, we had some major previous highs between this 22,100 and 22,050 level. Right here, previous high. We also saw that very clear double top high here from back in late January. So we had very clear previous highs here between the 22,100 and 22,050 level. Now, you guys know my strategy. My strategy, no matter what's going on in the market, it's always the break and retest. And so today, we saw the market open up above this previous high on the NASDAQ futures and on the S&P 500 futures. So naturally, my first thing to look for would be a pullback into those previous highs, right? Look to see if we can get something of a break and retest long opportunity, looking for a pullback to retest the breakout point. And what we can do, we can zoom in here on the hourly chart and look at this in even more detail. You can see right here, we have a NASDAQ futures that's this high right here between 22,100 and 22,050. We have a very clear previous double top high. Now here on Friday of last week, we saw that hold as a new support, which facilitated the upside move. Now today, we basically saw an all-day downside into that level. And so let's go ahead and zoom into the hourly chart and start taking a look at the wicks that began to show and the reason I started to get intrigued, right? So right here on the NASDAQ futures, zooming into today and here on Friday, we can see on Friday some very clear hourly wicks showing buyers at that 22,100 spot. Today, even though we were sort of sliding lower all throughout the day, every time we came into that 22,100, we saw a large wick off that showing buyers. And here around that 2 o'clock time frame, we started to get that large wick off 22,100 as well. And so let's go now down to the 5-minute chart. You can see right here at intraday, this was the NASDAQ futures. Let's go ahead and put on the highlight extended hours. You can see today we basically opened up high, right? Opened up near supply, rejected all day, came down into that 22.2, came down into it again here. And after seeing that strong buying stepping back in, I went ahead and just simply trusted the level. I went ahead and understood that this was the level to long because of the break and retest on the larger term analysis, right? I talk about this a lot. Trading on the intraday based off of 4-hour and major levels on the market. And so I knew through preparation and just confidence in my levels that if we came back down to this 22.1, this 22.1 right here, and we started to see some buying step in on the intraday, this could be a fantastic break and retest long opportunity. And so what I did, like you saw in that Zoom, we went ahead, got cozy in some longs at that 22,100, used the 22,050 as our stop loss, so about 50-point stop loss on the NASDAQ futures, and I just let that baby sit, right? I said as long as we're above that 2250 or in that 22,100, I'm going to go ahead and maintain these longs. I understand that this is a major demand on the market, and I understand that buyers can become present here once again. We can see pretty much immediately after that Zoom call, we saw a very nice upside move on the NASDAQ futures, and we basically just had to stay patient. In my mind, this was always something I was interested in longing overnight, right? So that's why I was able to sort of let this be and hold it into end of day, which gave me an insane upside move over those last few minutes of the day. Now, the question might be, why was I looking to potentially swing trade this idea? Why was it not just a scalp? Well, here's the reason, guys. So when you're looking at the 4-hour chart, right, and you're seeing a market come back down to a major 4-hour level, there is very much opportunity over multiple days if this level holds for a multi-day upside move, right? This could very well be the break and retest long that keeps this NASDAQ futures higher for multiple days, if not all the way up into all-time highs, right? This is the exact level that needs to hold for the NASDAQ to stay higher. We need to see these previous highs and this high right here turn into a new low. And if that's the case, and I catch a long at that exact spot, then I need to be someone that's giving this time and space to look to see if this is the perfect low and the perfect long for a multi-day continuation move. Now, another reason I was very bullish on holding this overnight and continuing to maintain the trade and see if it could continue is because, to me, the downside today, while it was a nice rejection, it didn't seem like anything too crazy. To me, it just seems like another buying opportunity. That's my personal bias here. I do believe that this is simply a buying opportunity right into Friday's lows, which held very stoutly. And you can see right here again, those Friday lows stepping up in our golden zone. So a gift like this today, right back into demand, could very well be the gift that the buyers and bulls were waiting for to get that new long and to continue this trade higher into all-time highs. So with that entry that I was able to take pretty much exactly at 22,100, as you saw in the Zoom chat, that is a very good reason to maybe scale off some profits and hold some overnight. This is exactly what I did with my ES opportunity with my SPY calls. So here, let's go ahead and talk about the ES. Why was 6120 such an important level for me today to look for a pullback long? Well, if we see right here on the SPY, guys, we can see that there was a very major previous high right here from Friday of 2 weeks ago, 6120. Now, this was also right here, Friday's lows, right around that 6120, right? So then today, we saw pretty much an all-day downside, guess what, right into 6120. So I was just basically longing 6120, 6120, and I was once again trusting that that candle could hold. I started to see that wick, right? You can see right here. This is right around that 2 o'clock time frame. We started to see some very aggressive buying coming in off that 61.20, which was also that previous Friday low. Now, another thing that really got me interested in whether that long could come in is right here, guys. This candle right here, this sort of panic to the downside, right into the buying zone, right into the major demand. In my opinion, this is a classic liquidity grab where people start to panic and trade to the downside, right into that major demand, which instantly gets bought back up. And to me, once I saw the willingness to hold here after that downside candle, I knew that the buyers had control, right? If the sellers were in control here, they would have sold this off. It would have broke under 61.20. We would have continued to see that selling under our major demand. But those buyers came in heavy and with volume, more volume than throughout the rest of the day. So to me, this was just a little liquidity grab right back into my major demand level, and I was very confident to hold this, and I was blessed with this end-of-day absolute nuclear candle, which puts me up over 75% on this trade. So basically what I'm trying to get across here, guys, is that my preparation in the pre-market, my key levels being on my charts, and if you guys come to the pre-market live streams, comment down below because you know that this was the golden zone we had on our charts. This was our pullback long spot that we were most interested in today in the pre-market live stream from 8 a.m. And if we're going to move into that level, it's time to put my money where my mouth is. I am not going to create a golden zone where I really want to look for a pullback long. And then when the market pulls back and goes to that level, if I'm not longing that, then I am just simply scared and not focusing on my analysis. And so when I saw the market fall lower aggressively into that golden zone on the NASDAQ futures at 22,100, which lined up perfectly with the exact same level on the ES, after seeing that, I knew I had to strike. And that is where I went ahead and took those longs live on the Zoom call. And man, oh man, was this a end-of-day delight that just absolutely ripped to the upside into the 6150 area. Now, tomorrow, I am still holding some, and I will pull up my contracts in just a second. What I'm looking for now to see if this can continue is a hold above 611 on the SPY ETF. We were able to close above previous all-time highs because of this end-of-day move, and what the bulls will want to see now is a maintain above this 611. If we can open tomorrow once again above 611 and above that previous all-time high and above these intraday highs today, that means that any short that entered today is completely underwater, and this would be a very key hold for more upside into tomorrow. Now, when I pull up my broker, you're going to see how I entered, took some off, but I'm still holding some positions overnight. So guys, here's my E-Trade account. This is my big portfolio, and this is where I go ahead and put my swing trades. I do not swing trade in Interactive Brokers. Any swing trade is always going to be in this portfolio. And so you can see right here, SPY and QQQ. The SPY calls up 77%. The QQQ calls up 57%. Now the QQQ calls, you can see right here, that was straight from the Discord, but also straight from that Zoom call. That is something that I will continue to hold overnight. I did take some profits on that, and I also took some profits on this SPY call. Today, on the day alone, up around year-to-date, up $234,000. Today, around $73,000, 66 of that coming from the SPY longs. I nuked this position. So clearly the sizes are very large, but this trade was about 10% of my portfolio, which I am very comfortable with. Percentage point of the portfolio is what you should be focused on. If you're pissed off about the size that I'm trading, well, I have really nothing to say to you. So you can see right here, my first entry on the day in this portfolio was right here, 209. I went ahead and took 500 calls, 500 contracts at $2.08. I took the February 19th 608 calls at 209. I went ahead and took those QQQ calls at 217. That's where I took that QQQ position right around 217, and 209 was where I started to buy the dip on the market. Now you can see here, end of day, I went ahead and closed at 358. I closed 350 of the 500 contracts, holding 150 overnight. So, Why, once again, did I take that trade? Well, we already talked about it, but we can go ahead and timestamp these trades. 209, 217. Let me go ahead and show you 209 on the ES futures. Let me go ahead and go to the 5-minute, zoom in. 209 was right here. It was the exact low of day. The exact low of day is where I went ahead and grabbed those SPY calls, and I sold pretty much half, a little bit more than half, into the end of day at 358. So we took this trade from the exact low of day to this exact high right here, a 75% trade, which yielded me about $66,000. What a trade this was. I'm sort of speechless. I have not made that much money in that quick and that perfect of a low in the market. But once again, this is a testament to key levels. We knew 6120 was a break and retest long. We knew that was an opportunity. We knew the NASDAQ futures here at the 22,100 was a break and retest long at these previous highs into new lows. And we just simply trusted the levels. And that's really just about it. So guys, if there's anything you take away from this video, it's once again that key levels are a very important thing on the market. And if you can pay attention to them, trade off of them objectively without bias, you can absolutely become a successful trader. I just showed you how I made about $70,000 today trading that long off the SPY and the QQQ. And if you continue to stay focused and build your portfolio and take the correct trades, you can have account sizes like me. I have not just started doing this. I have received no handouts. I have been doing this for 10 years of my life. And today is just another great example of me sticking to my strategy, sticking to my levels, and coming out on top. I hope you guys learned something from today's video. If you did, press that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out.